Hi, good evening. This is Ajit, and here I'm going to demonstrate you to set up SUMA 4 through online method, right? So first and foremost, you have to download Sleep 15 SP1 because SUMA 4 available or support Sleep 15 SP1. So first and foremost, you have to download the ISO. So you can go to SUSE.com/product. Right, enter. So here you can get a evaluation copy which is valid for 60 days. So somewhere down you can see a SUMA manager, right? SUSE manager, right? So this is a 60 days. So once you click on this 60 days, it will redirect you to a new page where you are supposed to fill your detail like your username, your company email ID, your password, the place where you are living, the country, the location, and what else? Your phone number, of course, right? So registration is required in order to download this ISO, right? So I have downloaded this already. So in SLE 15 we have a concept of unified installer, which means you need to download one ISO which is common for many products. So which is good for SLE 15. You can install it from the same ISO. You can install SUMA, you can install real-time server, you can install proxy, right? So SUSE Manager proxy, you can install SUSE Manager retail. So that's why we call it unified. So single ISO file will help you to set up one of these products. So that is almost around 700 MB, right? So I have downloaded it, but yes, it is a mandatory part for you people to do this, follow this, right? So I did this already. Let's go back to my machine. I'm going to set up installation first. So click on, yeah, next. So locate the ISO, which is there in my case somewhere in home directory ISO, and then we have a folder. So here we have a SLE 15 SP1 installer, which is DVD around 695 MB. Let's open it. Click here and select the operating system that you are going to install. Right, so SLES 15 SP1 SLES, yeah, this is, let's go little, yeah, this is the one, right? Select this up, and I'm using a KVM here to set up this environment. Forward, RAM, yes, this is one of the most critical things that you have to care of. So I would suggest you to always follow the SUSE documentation in order to set up SUMA, right? Because the hardware configuration may different from version to version. So if you go to SUMA 3 may have a different hardware requirement. In SUMA 4 we have a different hardware requirement. So for testing server, as per here you can see for SUMA x86-64 minimum CPU 4, yes. For testing machine 8 GB, for base installation 16, and for production 32. So this is the RAM, I mean the calculation, right? So choose the one, and from the disk size you need one disk for root, which is this much at least. You need one more file system for the database, and third one is where space walk. So for database at least 50 GB, and for this particular file system a minimum 50 GB each SUSE product. So let's say you have a three product, right? So which means 150 GB at least. And if you are using a Red Hat product, because you know that SUMA support SUSE support basically SUMA, right? We generally call SUMA. So SUSE Manager basically support a multi-Linux flavor, so you can manage your CentOS machine, Red Hat machine, Ubuntu, OpenSUSE SP1, SUSE itself, of course. So yeah, so if you have some Red Hat client and wanted to manage this through a SUMA, so you need to make some calculation. 360 GB for each product, and for swap it is 3 GB. So this is the hardware requirement. So I'm going to fix it here because I have a my machine having a 64 GB. So yes, it is always good to have at least a minimum RAM. So let's go for here. I can support this much. I have free RAM, and then 4 core, yeah. Disk size, let's go with I have enough space in my machine, so go with 100 now, right? And network is, because I'm in the testing environment, so I'm going to support this N80. So this will allow me to have access the outside network, right? So click finish. Let me down this machine because I need to have additional file system as well. So go to the setting and add the disk. So let's say for first disk is for where space work 100 GB. Let's go with 60 GB for yeah 50 GB for 60 GB maybe or 50 for database, right? And let's create one more, add one more disk for SRV, triple W, htdoc, and pub, which is used for custom repository. So let's go for yeah this 100 GB, right? So click finish and change the order, booting order, because you can see the CD is somewhere at the down. So just select it, put it up at the place one, first place, so that the machine will, boot up from. So apply, go back to the same, and then click yes. Interesting. So just download it. I mean, sorry, shut down. Go back here and ISO. Let's check whether the ISO is attached or not. So go here and see there is no ISO attached. So browse local, then installer. Yeah, apply. It's saying that the disk is already to use by other guests. Do you really want to use it? Yeah, I want to use it. Okay, then start it. So click enter, and here we have a place boot option. So if in case you want to fix some IP address, host name, gateway DNS, then you can do. Let's click enter. So this is an online way of setting up the SUSE manager, right? Or in short, you can say SUMA. And yes, you have to be very careful while defining a host name of the SUMA, because once everything is configured, then if in case you want to change the host name after installation or configuring of SUMA will be very much difficult, because certificate would have been created, your database would have been updated now, then it would be difficult. So try not to repeat this thing, right? Choose the name which should be appropriate, meaningful. So yes, in the beginning of the installation, I mean, you have created one account to download the ISO, right? And you have to, yeah, because this is a mandatory part. Without creating a registration, you won't able to uh, download the ISO. Yeah. So yes, as I said that it's a unified installer, though so single ISO image will help you to select one of these products. So let's go with this SUSE Manager 4.0, right? Click next. So we have a proxy one, we have a retail, we have the first basic Linux enterprise. Yeah, click next. And here, let me check this up whether the screen is shared. Yeah, this is here, and yeah, it is. So here we have to, when I say online, which means you will be connecting to scc.com, scc.sue.com to download the package and repositories. You may also have a second way, which means you can have a RMT or SMT configure somewhere in between SCC and you. So you can give the path of the SMT server in order to download the repository. Or the third one is the skip, registration. So yes, you have to create one more account under in scc.suse.com and use the same the company email ID that you used during the installation during to download the ISO, the same ISO. So in my case, it is like ajit.yadav@suse.com, right? One thing is this. Let's go first for network configuration. So do not forget to put the name of host, otherwise you will be in the different SUMA. Yes, the name of domain is example.com. I will configure this DNS later, but this is something which is mandatory, right? Click next. Let's back to the same page. So what is SCC? Why we need to create an account? So SCC is SCC is one of the online tool designed to make it easy for you to manage your business and technical interaction with SUSE, right? You can see the number of subscription that you purchase there. You can see the number of machines which are registered. You can sometime generate a SR request, say service request. You can purchase some new subscription, right? Your organization name is there. So there are a lot of things. I can show you this. Let's go back to SCC, but that is mandatory to create account there in the SCC one, right? So let's go back to the SCC now. This is here. So yeah, so this is a SCC page. SCC. So you need to create account there, right? So I can see my organization. There are 3 organizations created, and I have my tool section, which is like which contain a support, activate, subscription, and somewhere inside this option you can find the list of additional product that you can purchase it. This is a dashboard, and the name of organization is there. So when I click on organization, you can see my name of user. Under in subscription, you can see the list of subscription that you have purchased. So in my case, I have X number of subscription, right? SUSE Manager is one of the subscription, and you can also see the registration, registration code also inside this option. I'm not going to click it here, but yes, when you click it here, you can see the list of product that you have purchased along with the registration code, and you need this registration code, right? And registration code will automatically populate it here. So once you download the ISO, right, you will get a 60 days registration key that would be somewhere received in your personal email ID. So when you create an account here in SCC by the same company ID, those 60 days subscription number registration code would be visible here. So this is a number of system that I have attached. So you can see I have a list of number of machines which are attached, and inside the proxy option you can see the username and the password. So each different organization have a different username and password. So you also need to know this username and password. So I will discuss this, but yeah, this is a mandatory thing that without this username password you cannot configure SUMA for online, right? So let's go back to here, and I'm going to pause my video so that I can put my registration code here, right? So yeah, once I supplied my my registration code and click that, this page come. So you have to make sure that these 5 options are selected, right? The SUSE Manager module 4.0, Python 2, server application module SP1, 15 SP1, web and scripting module, and the last is base module. So make sure that these require modules are selected. Click next. So the whole process, I mean, the configuration or maintaining the SUMA require it's basically a 2-step process. In the first step, you have to download the require packages like what we are doing currently. Now we are registering the machine and downloading the repository, right? Basically required to set up my SUMA 4 only, right? The second step is you have to configure the SUMA 4, right? You have to run some command to do configuration. And in the last step is create an organization and set up a user who can leverage or use this resource. So that is currently there are 3-step process. So currently we are in the stage 1 or state 1, yeah, where we are installing SUMA 4, right? Next. So this is a system role. So select the SUSE manager server, first option. Click next. Go to the expert partitioner, select the first option. And I have one disk which is for operating system. Let's go for the VDB and create a partition with the size called, let's say go with the default 100, and need to mount on where spacewalk. Yeah, where and spacewalk. Make sure that it is XFS selected, right? It's a file system. Create the next for database. Next, where lib pg sql pgsql pgsql. Yeah, this is the pgsql. And create one more for custom repository. So next, where www hddock and pub. So this is the next file system. All three is created. Let's go to the hard disk, and you can see we have one for spacewalk, one for pgsql, and one for your external repository where www htdoc docsoo. Go back to edit. Yeah, htdocs htdoc and pub. Yeah, click next, accept, next, select the zone, right, the place where you are in. And if you using any local NTP server, click on other NTP and then fix this. I'm using internet IP, so I would use the outside internet NTP. So it's look good. Kolkata is my location. I mean, this is the zone, right? So next, name of user, let's say zone, and this is the password. And I will use the same Linux password for root as well, system administrator. Click next. It's okay. You can make any change or change, yeah, because this is a final page before installing SUMA 4, right? So let's say if you need GUI, then you can go to the software section and install what your X server basically, right? X Windows server. Even you can do the software installation, but I think this is the right place to do, so that once everything is done, it will come with the nice page. SH port will be blocked, so let's open it so that SH will be allowed. Install, and yeah, click on install. So it will take around 8 to 10 minutes to complete this process. I'm going to pause this video. So yes, installation is done. Let's log in with the root, and the password is Linux in my case. Right. So first and foremost, let's go for, yeah. So to maximize the terminal, you can press the control key, hold down the key, control key, right arrow key, and then select true type font. Sometimes good to know this. So yes, everything look good. My IP address is 167.192.168.122.167. So let's update the host file, right? 167. Okay. So suma.example.com, right? So let's ping with SUMA. Yeah, let's close it, reopen it again, and yeah, right. So yes, you need to manage the firewall. I'm not going to manage it right now, but when you go and follow my training, you will come to know the list of different ports need to open. So currently I'm going to disable it, right? Because our objective is to know how to set up this SUMA, right? SUMA 4. So currently we have done a one part of job where we have installed SUMA server successfully, right? So now we will need to go through the two-stage configuration process to be able to use SUMA, right? So the first state is you have to configure SUMA, right? So yes to space SUSE manager setup. This is what you're supposed to run. So it's saying that you need to have at least this much space. So it's 99 GB, not enough space. Let's continue, right? Your host name does not. Okay, let me check it. Yeah, it is working. So no issue. Let's go ahead. But yeah, it is a good practice to have a DNS, right? I am going to save the time to use this host file. So let's click it back. All right, let's go. Continue. So this is a setup SUSE manager from the scratch. Next. So write the email ID for receiving some messages, right? So this is a default one. Let's go with the default one and press next. We need to fix the organization name, the organization unit, city, state, etc. So let's go with SUSE, and it is enablement, right? City is New Delhi. Go with New Delhi, India, and the password is, let's say in my case, this is the one, 8-character password, right? So it needs something complex, right? And you need to remember this password, because if in future you configure your proxy, SUSE manager proxy, you need to know this password, right? So okay. So the database user is SUSE manager, right? Ex admin -db. This is what my password is. Ex admin -db. Click next. So yes, you can start the setup process directly, right? So I'm going to click on yes. So once I click on yes, there's an script which is going to run in the background called mgr-setup space -s. So let's yes. So this is almost we are very close to finish this process, right? So this is a state 2. Yeah, it look good. It is setting up the SSL, right? Deploying a configuration file, creating a sublink, soft link basically with TFTP dot socket, restarting the services. So that's why I told you that choose the name of the host very carefully, because if everything is configured and then you try to do, yes you can do, but you have to face a lot of trouble. You have to go with list of different stages or procedure to do that. So it is always wise to take this thing carefully at the beginning. So we are almost in the closing state. The last and the final step is to set up the the organization and the user, right? So this is by this way you can set up your SUMA, right? So yes, once I click on yes, you can see the URL to access a SUMA. So https colon and your suma.example.com. And online documentation is available at this place, documentation.suse.com/SUMA. So click next and open the Firefox https://suma.example.com. Enter. So Firefox is not. Let's go here and see. Let's close this up first. So I'm using my base machine because I have my Firefox or Chrome, installed in my base machine. So yeah, I'm going to hit my SUMA server IP address, which is 167 in the last. Advanced, yep. And here you can write the name of your organization, your name of desired login, right? So let's say admin, right? And the password is Linux, and email ID is at let's say this one. It's just it organization. So yes, you have logged successfully. Name of user is admin, and you have logged. So now, if you have to, sync the product that you have purchased, so you have to go here under in SUSE product, and you can't see any product because see you have to set up organization credential here. Meaning when you go to scc.suse.com, right? So let's click here. You can see each organization has a different credentials. So here you can see my username and the password. I'm supposed to fix this username password there, right? So if the username password is correct, you will see all the product or subscription basically that you have purchased. So I'm going to pause my video to fix this up. So I have fixed my username and the password, right? So when I go back to the SUSE product, I can see the list of, you can see something on my right hand side is going on, which is refresh the product catalog from the SUSE customer center. So what is currently happening? Your SUMA is going to connect to the SCC in order to download the repository. So after a while, you can see the list of product that you have purchased for subscription, yeah, or say sometimes say entitlement, yes. So let's wait for a second, right? So each product at least require 50 GB. So if you are selecting, depend on the number of product that we're going to select it. So in my case, I have taken 90 GB, which means I can select two product at least to sync, right? So this is the whole process of setting up SUMA. It's quite easier. Download the ISO, install the OS with the prerequisite like RAM, CPU, and file system, right? Some network services. The second step is you have to, this is what the second step is, you have to run the command rayas to space SUSE manager underscore setup. So it will ask you for your organization name, your SSL password, etc. And the last stage is this, to setting up the organization and putting the organization credential under in this, right? So let's be here. Yeah, it takes time based on the number of product that you have, right? So yeah, you can see my refresh the product catalog, and everything is done, and I can see the list of different products. So I have all my subscription access here. So yes, the number of subscription that you purchase or listed under in SCC account will be visible here. So let's go for next. I need a SLE 15 SP1. So this is the one, right? And each of these product have some child channels inside. So I mean, just click it here, and then you have to go to add product, right? Yeah, this is here, add product. And once you sync, it will start it will start syncing information or data from SCC down to your machine, which I'm not going to do, right? But this is the things happen, right? You can see the process is started. So once this is downloaded, then you can export this information, you can push this information to the client. So this is how everything work. So your SUMA is connecting to the SCC in order to forward the information to the client. So yeah, it is taking mirror or syncing repository from upstream to down to this SUMA, right? So yeah, this is all about for SUMA for configuration and deployment. I'm going to close this. I don't want to do this now because it will consume a lot more space. Yeah, it will take a lot more space. It is done even, anyways. So let's close it up. Thank you very much for watching this. Yeah, it is done.